Hello, and a huge warm welcome back to English Made Easy. I'm Eleanor.
And I'm David. It's so good to have you with us. We are genuinely thrilled you're here today.
We really are. Here at English Made Easy, our entire mission, our reason for being here, is to help you learn English in the simplest, most enjoyable way possible. We believe learning a language shouldn't feel like a punishment or a boring chore. It should feel like an adventure.
Exactly, an adventure. And speaking of adventures, today's topic is one of our biggest yet, and it's incredibly useful. We are going on a journey together, a vocabulary journey all about travel. But this isn't just a list of words. Oh no. We are going to frame this whole experience like a marathon.
That's right, a marathon. It might sound a little intense, but think about it. Learning a language is a lot like training for a long race. It takes time, it takes practice, and some days are harder than others. But every single step you take, every new word you learn brings you closer to that finish line. Our video today is structured just like that. We'll run through different miles, and each mile will explore new words, starting from the simple, everyday vocabulary you need to get by and moving all the way up to the advanced, academic words that will make you sound incredibly fluent and sophisticated.
And here's our promise to you. By the end of this video, you won't just know these words. You'll understand them. You'll feel them. You'll know exactly how to use them, which synonyms work best, and when to use them in your day-to-day conversations. You'll be able to apply them immediately.
There's one very important thing you need to do to make this work. You have to speak with us. Even if you're on a bus or in a library or sitting at home, I want you to say the words after me. You can whisper them to yourself if you need to. Just moving your mouth and making the sounds is a powerful part of learning. I'll be speaking with the natural rhythm of a native speaker, so this is perfect practice for your pronunciation and flow. Are you ready?
I think they are. Let's get to the starting line.
Okay. Every marathon begins with that first step. Before you can even think about the finish line, you have to prepare. You have to get your gear, plan your route, and mentally get ready for the journey. In travel, this is the planning stage. These are the foundational, essential words you absolutely need to know.
These are the words that get you from your house to your destination. You can't leave home without them. They're like your running shoes and your water bottle, completely non-negotiable.
Exactly. Let's imagine we are planning a trip right now. The very first thing we need is a destination. Where are we going? Let's say Italy. Beautiful choice. The first word we need to get there is a ticket. A ticket is a piece of paper or an electronic record that shows you have paid for a journey on a plane, a train, a bus, or entry to a place like a museum or a cinema. It's your proof of purchase, your permission to travel or enter.
So simple, but so important. Without it, you're not going anywhere.
Let's get the pronunciation right. It's a simple word, but the sounds are important. Say it with me. Ticket.
Ticket.
The stress is on the first syllable. Ticket. One more time, nice and clear. Ticket.
It sounds a bit like kick it, but with a T. Ticket.
Perfect. Now, what are some other words for ticket? A very common synonym, especially for flights, is a boarding pass. A boarding pass is a specific type of ticket that allows you to get on or board the plane. You could also just call it a pass, or more formally, a fare. For example, I paid the bus fare.
The opposite would be, well, not having a ticket, which means you can't get in.
Precisely. Now, let's talk about how to use this in a real situation. You're at the airport, you walk up to the check-in desk. The airline agent will ask, "May I see your ticket and passport, please?" You need to be ready to show them either the physical paper or the electronic version on your phone. A good example of using the word would be, "Hi, I have a digital ticket on my phone for the flight to Rome." A less clear or slightly awkward example might be, "I have paid for my fly." The agent will understand, but ticket is the exact word they are listening for. It's clear, direct, and efficient.
I've definitely had that moment of panic searching through my emails for my e-ticket. My practical advice here is to always take a screenshot of your electronic ticket. That way you don't need an internet connection to find it at the airport. It saves so much stress.
That is a fantastic tip, David. So let's do a quick challenge. Imagine you're at a train station. How would you ask for a ticket to London? You could say, "One ticket to London, please." Or, "Could I buy a ticket to London?" Simple, effective, perfect. All right, you have your ticket. What's the next absolute essential for international travel?
Oh, this one is the big one, your passport. Without this little book, you are truly stuck.
A passport is an official government document that identifies you and your nationality. It allows you to travel to and from foreign countries. Think of it as your global ID card. It's the key that unlocks the world.
It's amazing how much power is in that little book, isn't it? It holds your photo, your name, your birthday, and all the stamps from the places you've been. It tells the story of your travels.
Let's practice the pronunciation. It's two parts. Pass, port.
Passport.
The stress is on the first syllable. Pass, port. The A sound is long, like in car. Passport. Say it with me. Passport.
Passport.
Perfect. Now, what are some other words for passport? A very common synonym, especially for flights, is travel documents or identification. But passport is almost always the word used.
Let's set up a scenario. You're at the immigration counter after your flight has landed. The officer is sitting behind the glass looking very serious. The officer will say something like, "Your passport, please." You hand over your passport. The officer will check your photo to see if it's you, scan the document, and maybe ask a question like, "What is the purpose of your visit?" A good, confident response would be, "Here is my passport. I'm here for a 2-week holiday." A bad example would be fumbling for your documents and just handing over a driver's license or another ID. In international travel, the passport is the only thing that matters at this counter.
One common mistake learners make is keeping their passport packed away in their big suitcase. A huge mistake. Your passport, ticket, wallet, and phone should always be in your carry-on bag, the small bag you take with you onto the plane. You will need it multiple times throughout your journey.
Real experience talking here. I once saw a family have a total meltdown at check-in because their son's passport was in the suitcase they had already checked in. They had to get the airline to find the bag deep in the belly of the airport. It was a nightmare. Keep it on you at all times.
Solid advice. Okay, quick practice. You're checking into a hotel in a foreign country. The receptionist asks for your ID. What do you say as you hand them your little travel book? Say it out loud right now. "Here is my passport." Easy. We have our ticket, we have our passport. Now we need to pack. Everything you pack goes into your luggage.
The art of packing. I'm terrible at it. I always bring too much. My luggage weighs a ton.
I think many people have that problem. Luggage is the general word for the bags, suitcases, and containers you use to carry your belongings when you travel. It's a collective noun, which can be a bit tricky.
What does that mean, a collective noun?
It means it refers to a group of things. So you don't usually say luggages. You say luggage, whether you have one bag or 5 bags. For example, I have too much luggage, not too many luggages. If you want to talk about individual items, you would say bags or pieces of luggage.
Got it. That's a really useful grammar point. Let's pronounce it. The stress is on the first syllable, luggage. The end of the word sounds like idge, as in bridge. Luggage. Repeat after me. Luggage. Synonyms are pretty common here. You could say baggage, which means exactly the same thing. You could also be more specific and say suitcase, backpack, or just bags.
Let's walk through the airport with our luggage. You've packed your bags at home. You arrive at the airport and you need to check them in. You go to the airline counter and put your large suitcase on the weighing scale. The agent might say, "Are you checking in any luggage today?" You would reply, "Yes, just this one suitcase." Then there's the carry-on luggage, the smaller bag you take on the plane with you. A good example of using the word is, "Excuse me, where is the luggage claim area?" This is the place where you pick up your bags after the flight. A common mistake is related to the collective noun rule. A learner might ask, "Where are my luggages?" A native speaker will understand, but it immediately signals that you are a learner. The correct way is, "Where is my luggage?"
And a practical tip. Always put something unique on your luggage, like a colorful ribbon or a sticker. Why? Because when you get to the luggage claim, you will see 100 black suitcases that look exactly like yours. Having something bright on it makes it so much easier to spot. It saves you from that awkward moment of picking up someone else's bag.
I have done that. It is very awkward. Okay, your turn to practice. You're at the airport check-in, and the agent asks you if you have anything to check. You have 2 large suitcases. Well, what do you say? Yes, I have 2 pieces of luggage to check in. Perfect. So, we've arrived in Italy. We've collected our luggage. We're tired from the flight. We need a place to stay, a place to rest and start our adventure from. We need a hotel.
A home away from home. A hotel is a place that provides accommodation, meals, and other services for travelers and tourists. You book a room, and it's your base for your trip.
Let's check the pronunciation. Hotel. The stress is on the second syllable. It's not hotel. It's hotel. Let that second part have the energy. Hotel. Try it. Hotel.
That's a good point about the stress. It can really change how natural you sound. Hotel.
Now, what are some other words for a place to stay? You could stay at an inn, which is usually smaller and perhaps a bit older than a hotel. You might stay at a resort, which is often a large hotel complex with many facilities like swimming pools and restaurants, usually in a tourist area. Or you might prefer a hostel, which is a more budget-friendly option where you might share a room with other travelers. Another option is a B&B, which stands for bed and breakfast. This is usually a small place, often someone's home, where you get a room and breakfast is included.
So many options. The opposite, I guess, would be just camping or staying with friends. No formal accommodation. Let's check into our hotel. You walk into the lobby. It's cool and quiet after the busy street. You approach the front desk. You say to the receptionist, "Hello, I have a reservation." They will ask you for your name and passport. A good, clear sentence would be, "I booked the room at this hotel online under the name David."
A common mistake for learners can be with prepositions. People sometimes say, "I am staying in the hotel," which is perfectly correct, but also "I am staying at the hotel" is very common and natural. You also book a room at a hotel. For example, we have a room at the Grand Hotel.
My advice when you arrive at a hotel, especially if you're a bit nervous about your English, is to have your booking confirmation email ready on your phone. It has all the information: your name, the dates, the type of room. It makes the check-in process smooth and stress-free. You can just show the email to the receptionist.
That's a great way to reduce anxiety. Okay, your practice moment. A friend asks you where you are staying in Rome. Tell them you're staying at a lovely place called the Roma Hotel. How would you say that? I'm staying at a lovely hotel called the Roma. Simple and perfect. We're checked in. Our luggage is in the room. We've had a short rest. Now the real fun begins. It's time to explore.
Yes, this is my favorite part of traveling. To explore means to travel through a place in order to learn about it or find something new. It's about being curious, walking around, and discovering things for yourself. It's not just about seeing the famous tourist sites. It's about getting a little lost on purpose.
I love that definition. Getting a little lost on purpose. That's the heart of exploration. This is a verb, an action word. Let's say it together. Explore. Explore. The stress is on the second syllable. Explore. It rhymes with door or for. Explore. Give it a try. Explore.
What are some other ways to say it? You could say discover, look around, investigate, or roam. Let's go roam the city streets. That has a nice free feeling to it.
The opposite of exploring would be to stay put or to stick to a strict plan. If you only follow a tour guide and never leave the group, you aren't really exploring on your own.
Let's put this into practice. You and a friend are in your hotel room, looking at a map of the city. Your friend might say, the Colosseum is over here, and the Vatican is here. We have to see them. A great way to use our new word would be to reply, definitely. But after we see the Colosseum, let's just explore the little streets around it. Who knows what we might find? This shows a sense of adventure. A bad example or a missed opportunity would just be saying, okay. The word explore adds a feeling of excitement and possibility.
A mistake some learners make is using explore for something very simple. For example, saying, I want to explore the menu at a restaurant sounds a little too dramatic. You would usually just say, look at the menu. Explore is best used for a physical place like a city, a forest, a market, an old building. It can also be used for ideas like, let's explore this topic further.
My practical advice for anyone wanting to truly explore a new city is to walk. Just walk. Put your phone away for an hour, pick a direction, and walk. You'll discover shops, cafes, and parks that you would never find in a guidebook. That is the true spirit of exploration.
Beautifully said. Okay, quick challenge. You're talking to a local person in Italy. Ask them for a recommendation of a good neighborhood to walk around and discover. Use the word explore. You could ask, can you recommend a nice area to explore on foot? That's a fantastic, natural sounding question.
And just like that, we've completed mile 1 of our marathon. We've covered the absolute essentials: ticket, passport, luggage, hotel, and explore. You are officially on your way. You've started the race. How do you feel?
You're doing great. You're learning, you're speaking. This is how fluency is built. One word, one step at a time. Now, let's pick up the pace a little bit. It's time for the next stage of our journey. Okay, mile 1 is done. We've warmed up. We know the basics. Now we're getting into the rhythm of the run. In this mile, we're going to level up. We're going to take common, simple words you already know and learn more powerful, descriptive, and nuanced alternatives.
This is so important. It's the difference between saying the food was nice and the food was exquisite. It adds color and emotion to your language. It's like going from black and white television to full HD color. Your language becomes so much more vivid.
Vivid, exactly. Let's start with a feeling we all have when we travel. You're standing in front of something incredible. The Grand Canyon, the Eiffel Tower at night, a beautiful mountain range. You could say it's nice or beautiful, but that doesn't capture the feeling, does it?
Not at all. It feels much bigger than that.
So instead of beautiful, let's learn the word breathtaking. So when something is breathtaking, it is so beautiful or amazing that it literally takes your breath away for a moment. You gasp, you just stop and stare. It's a powerful, emotional adjective.
You can almost feel it in the word itself. Breath
breathtaking. It's like the view is stealing the air from your lungs because it's so stunning.
Exactly. Let's say it slowly. Breathtaking. The stress is right at the beginning. Breathtaking. Make sure you get that sound at the end of breath. It's a soft sound, like in three. Breathtaking. Say it with me. Breathtaking.
What are some other powerful words like this one? Synonyms for breathtaking could be stunning, spectacular, magnificent, or awe-inspiring. All of these are much stronger than just beautiful.
The opposite might be ordinary, unimpressive, or even dull.
Let's create a scene. You are on a hiking trip in the mountains with a friend. You've been climbing for hours. You are tired, you are sweaty. You finally reach the summit, the very top. You look out and you see the whole world spread out below you. The sun is setting, painting the clouds orange and pink. Your friend says, "Wow." A perfect way to respond and use this word would be to say, it's breathtaking, isn't it? You would say it softly, full of emotion. A less impactful way would be to just say, it's a good view. See the difference? Breathtaking shares the feeling, not just the fact.
A common mistake is overusing it. If you say the coffee was breathtaking and the taxi was breathtaking, the word loses its power. Save it for things that are truly exceptionally beautiful or impressive. Nature, art, a performance, an incredible piece of architecture.
My practical advice is to connect the word to a physical feeling. Before you use it, think, did this thing I'm looking at literally make me pause? Did it make me go, wow, out loud? If yes, then breathtaking is the perfect word to use.
Okay, challenge time. You just visited the Taj Mahal in India for the first time. A friend messages you, how was it? What do you reply? Using our new word. Say it out loud. You could take back, it was absolutely breathtaking. I have no words. All right, let's move from sights to another huge part of travel, experiences, especially food. You go to Italy, you want real Italian pizza, not the kind you get from a global chain restaurant at home. You don't want the tourist version, you want the authentic experience.
Now I'm hungry. Authentic means real or genuine. It's not a copy. When we talk about authentic food, we mean it's made in the traditional, local way. An authentic experience is one that feels true to the local culture, not something created just for tourists.
It's a word that travelers who want to go deeper into a culture really love. Let's get the pronunciation right. Authentic. Authentic. The stress is on the middle syllable. Authentic. The TH sound is the same as in think. The first part, aw, sounds like the or in for. Authentic. Repeat after me. Authentic.
Synonyms would be genuine, real, original, or traditional. The opposite would be fake, imitation, inauthentic, or touristy.
Let's imagine we are in that Italian restaurant. You're looking at two restaurants on a street in Rome. One has a big flashy sign in English saying, "Best pizza in the world," and pictures of tourists. The one next to it is small, quiet, and full of local people speaking Italian. You would say to your friend, let's go to the small one. It looks much more authentic. You're making a choice based on the desire for a real local experience. A good example sentence is, I'm looking for a restaurant that serves authentic local cuisine. A bad example would be using it to describe something that can't be authentic, like the weather was very authentic. It doesn't make sense. It applies to things that have a culture, a history, or an origin.
One difficulty learners have is knowing what is authentic. It can be a subjective word. My advice is to look for clues. If you're looking for an authentic restaurant, are local families eating there? Is the menu in the local language? These are good signs. The word is often used by travelers who want to show they are not just typical tourists.
That's a great point about its cultural meaning.
Okay, practice time. You were telling a friend about your trip to Japan. You want to describe the amazing tea ceremony you attended, which was run by a local family in their home. What adjective would you use? We went to a completely authentic tea ceremony. It was unforgettable. From the quiet and traditional, let's go to something full of life and energy. You walk into a market in Marrakesh, there are colors everywhere, people shouting, the smell of spices in the air, music playing. The whole place feels alive. A good word for this is not just busy or colorful, it's vibrant.
Ooh, I love that word, vibrant. It means full of energy, life, and excitement. It can describe a place, a color, a person's personality, or a culture. It's a very positive and energetic word.
It really is. Let's say it. Vibrant. Vibrant. The stress is on the first syllable. Vibrant. The I sound is long like in ice. Vibrant. Say it with me. Vibrant.
Other words you could use are lively, energetic, dynamic, or full of life. The opposite would be dull, quiet, sleepy, or monochromatic, which means having only one color.
Let's put ourselves in that market. You're describing your trip to your family back home. They ask you what Mexico City was like. You could say, it was a huge city, which is true, but boring. Or you could say, Mexico City is incredibly vibrant. The street art, the music, the food markets, there's just so much energy everywhere. This paints a much better picture. It gives a feeling.
A potential mistake is confusing it with bright. While a vibrant color is a bright color, a vibrant city means much more. It means the city has a lively atmosphere and culture, not just that the buildings are brightly painted.
My practical advice is to use vibrant when you want to describe the overall atmosphere of a place, the combination of sights, sounds, and people. Think of it like a painting. A painting can have bright colors, but a vibrant painting feels like it's moving and alive.
That's a perfect metaphor. Okay, your turn. You are recommending a city to a friend who loves exciting places with lots of culture and nightlife. How would you describe that city to them using our word?
You should definitely visit Rio de Janeiro. It's such a vibrant city. You would love it. We've had the breathtaking views, the authentic food, the vibrant markets. But travel isn't always about high energy. Sometimes you travel to find peace and quiet. You find a hidden beach, or a quiet temple garden, or a calm lake at sunrise. The feeling isn't nice or quiet. It's serene.
Serene. That word even sounds peaceful. It means calm, peaceful, and untroubled. It's a state of complete tranquility. When a place is serene, it makes you feel serene.
Beautifully put. Let's practice the pronunciation. Serene. The stress is on the second syllable, which has a long E sound. Serene. Like the een in scene. Serene. Let's all say it and feel calm as we do. Serene.
Other words that capture this feeling are peaceful, tranquil, calm, or placid, which is often used for water. The opposite would be chaotic, hectic, noisy, or turbulent.
Let's create a serene moment. You've been traveling for weeks. You've been in busy cities, noisy airports. You're starting to feel tired and overwhelmed. You decide to take a day trip to a Japanese garden. You walk in, and all you can hear is the sound of trickling water and birds. The chaos of the city disappears. You would describe this feeling by saying, after the madness of the city, this garden feels so serene. A good example is, we sat by the lake enjoying the serene atmosphere. A common mistake might be to use it for a person who is just quiet. Serene is more than quiet. It implies a deep inner peace. A library is quiet, but a monastery is serene. There's a spiritual or emotional element to it.
My advice is to use serene to describe a place that has a positive and calming effect on your mind. If a place helps you forget your worries and just be in the moment, that's a serene place. It's a powerful word to use in a travel journal or when telling a story about a deeply meaningful moment on your trip.
That's wonderful. All right, marathon runners, we're at mile 3. You're feeling confident, you know some great words. But then a native speaker says something that makes no sense at all. They say something like, "We should probably hit the road soon."
And you're thinking, hit the road? Why would I want to hit the road? What did the road do to you? This is the world of idioms. Idioms are phrases where the meaning isn't obvious from the individual words. They are a key part of sounding natural and fluent, but they can be tricky.
They can be a real hurdle in the marathon, but we're going to leap over them together. They are also fun. And for this travel edition, we're going to learn idioms all about, well, travel. Let's start with the one I just mentioned, to hit the road. To hit the road simply means to begin a journey, to leave. It's a very common, informal way to say, let's go.
It's often used when starting a car journey, a road trip. You can imagine the tires hitting the road as you start moving. It has a sense of energy and starting an adventure.
Let's break it down. Pronunciation is easy here. Hit the road. Hit the road. The challenge isn't saying it, but knowing when to use it. Let's think about a scenario. You and your friends have finished packing the car for a camping trip. The sun is rising, everything is ready. You turn to everyone and say, "All right, everyone, it's 6 a.m. Let's hit the road." This is the perfect use. It's an enthusiastic call to action. A bad example or a misunderstanding would be taking it literally. If your friend says, "Let's hit the road," and you walk over and kick the asphalt, they will be very confused.
Please don't do that. A common mistake is using it in a formal situation. You wouldn't say to your boss in an important business meeting, "Okay, team, let's hit the road." It's too informal. You would say, "Let's begin," or "Let's get started." It's for friends, family, and casual situations.
Great point. My practical advice is to listen for it in movies and TV shows. You will hear it all the time, especially in American English. Notice who says it and in what context. It will help you get a feel for its informal, adventurous tone.
Okay, quick practice. You've just finished a lovely dinner at your parents' house, but it's getting late and you have a long drive home. What do you say to your partner?
Remember earlier, David, you said you always pack too much luggage?
Oh, God, I do. I am the king of overpacking. I am the opposite of someone who knows how to travel light.
Exactly. To travel light is our next idiom. It means to travel with very little luggage, just the essentials, one small bag maybe.
It's a philosophy for some people. The idea is that with less stuff, you have more freedom. You can move more easily. You don't have to worry about heavy bags. It's a minimalist approach to travel.
The phrase is simple to say. Travel light. Travel light. Let's see it in action. Two friends are discussing their upcoming backpacking trip across Southeast Asia. One friend says, "I'm only taking a small backpack." The other replies, "Me too. I really want to travel light on this trip so we can be more flexible." A misunderstanding isn't really possible with this one, but a common mistake is not understanding the positive meaning it often has. It's not just about having no money for luggage. It's often a conscious choice for a simpler, more mobile travel style.
My advice is if you want to try to travel light, lay out everything you think you need on your bed, then put half of it back in the closet. You probably don't need it. That's the first step to mastering the art of traveling light.
That is very practical advice. Okay, your turn. You are at the airport check-in, and you have no bags to check in. The airline agent looks surprised. What can you say to them with a smile?
Nope, no bags for me. I always try to travel light. They will be impressed.
Now for the opposite experience. Sometimes people travel so much, often for work, that they never really unpack. They move from one hotel room to another, and their suitcase is their closet. This lifestyle is called living out of a suitcase.
This one has a slightly negative feeling, doesn't it? It suggests a life that is unsettled and lacks a permanent home. You're constantly on the move, and your life is temporarily packed into a bag.
It definitely can. To live out of a suitcase means to live in a temporary way, staying in different places for short periods of time with only the belongings you have in your luggage. The phrase is live out of a suitcase. Let's look at a scenario. You're talking to a friend who is a consultant and travels for work from Monday to Friday every single week. Your friend might say, I'm so tired. For the last 2 years, I've been living out of a suitcase. I can't wait to have a job where I can just stay in one place. This shows the exhaustion and temporary nature of their life. A mistake would be to use it for a short, 1 week holiday. You wouldn't say, I'm on vacation living out of a suitcase. The idiom implies a longer, more sustained period of this kind of travel, usually connected to work or a nomadic lifestyle.
My practical advice is to use this idiom when you want to express the feeling of being unsettled due to constant travel. It's a great way to talk about the downsides of a jet-setting lifestyle. It's not as glamorous as it sounds, and this idiom captures that feeling perfectly.
It really does. Okay, quick challenge. Imagine you are an international musician on a world tour. A journalist asks you what tour life is like. How would you describe it using this idiom?
It's an amazing experience, but it's tough. You have to get used to living out of a suitcase.
We're in our hotel room. The taxi to the airport is coming in 10 minutes, and your friend is still deciding which shirt to wear. You're getting anxious. You need to tell them to hurry up, but in a slightly more polite, common way. You would say, we need to get a move on.
Let's go. To get a move on is an informal way to say hurry up or move faster. It's a nudge to someone to speed up what they are doing.
It's very common in everyday speech. Let's say it. Get a move on. Get a move on. Let's use it in context. A tour bus is waiting for a group of tourists. The tour guide notices that some people are still taking photos and are not on the bus. The bus needs to leave on time. The guide would clap their hands and say, okay, everyone, time to go. Let's get a move on, please. It's direct, but not overly rude. It creates a sense of urgency. A potential mistake is the tone of voice. If you say it in a very angry or aggressive way, it can sound rude. But if you say it with an upbeat or slightly stressed tone, it's perfectly normal.
My advice is to use this when you are part of a group that needs to leave. You are including yourself in the action. Let's get a move on, or we need to get a move on, feels a bit softer than just pointing at someone and saying, hurry up.
That's a great nuance. It feels more like teamwork. Okay, your turn to practice. You and your family are going to the cinema. The movie starts in 15 minutes and your kids are still playing video games. What do you say?
Come on, kids, get a move on, or we'll miss the beginning of the movie.
Our last idiom is a feeling that many of you listening might have. It's the feeling you get after an amazing trip. You get home, and all you can think about is where you want to go next. You have been bitten by the travel bug.
I have been bitten many times. The travel bug is a strong desire to travel. It's not a real insect, of course. It's a metaphor for an obsession or a passion for traveling that once you have it, is hard to get rid of.
It's a wonderful feeling to have. The phrase is the travel bug. Let's see how we talk about it. Your friend just came back from their first ever trip abroad. Their eyes are wide with excitement as they show you their photos. You would smile and say, it sounds like you had an amazing time. Be careful. I think you've caught the travel bug. This is a friendly, knowing comment between people who understand the love of travel. You can talk about catching the travel bug or having the travel bug. For example, I definitely have the travel bug. I'm already planning my next 3 trips. A mistake would be to think it's a negative thing, like catching a cold or the flu. It's almost always used in a positive and enthusiastic way.
My advice is to use this phrase to connect with other people who love to travel. It's like a secret code. If you tell someone, I think I have the travel bug, you are sharing a passion. It's a great way to start a conversation about where you've been and where you dream of going.
And what a perfect idiom to end this mile on. Hit the road, travel light, live out of a suitcase, get a move on, and the travel bug. You've just learned 5 fantastic idioms that will make your English sound so much more natural. You are navigating the twists and turns of the language like a pro.
We are more than halfway through our marathon now. You're doing an incredible job. The next mile is a bit more serious. We're going to put on our academic hats and learn some words that will help you talk about travel in a more formal, professional, and analytical way. Ready to level up again?
Let's do it. The intellectual part of the run is next. Now, we're going to add a layer of sophistication to your vocabulary. This mile is for when you need to talk about travel in a more formal setting.
That's right. Maybe you're writing a travel blog, giving a presentation about a trip, studying tourism at university, or writing a report for work. In these situations, words like nice or fun aren't enough. You need language that is more precise, analytical, and professional.
These words are like the specialized running gear you use for peak performance. They show a deeper level of thinking and understanding. Our first word is something you do before you even start analyzing. You gather information. But let's use a more academic word, to compile. To compile means to collect information and arrange it in a book, a report, a list, or some other form. It's more than just gathering. It implies organization and purpose. You're bringing different pieces of information together into a single structured whole.
So it's like making a playlist. You don't just throw random songs together, you choose them carefully and put them in a specific order to create a certain mood. You compile a playlist.
That is a perfect metaphor. Let's look at the pronunciation. Compile. Compile. The stress is on the second syllable, compile. It rhymes with smile. Compile. Say it with me. Compile.
Synonyms could include assemble, gather, collect, or organize. But compile has a more formal, deliberate feeling than just gather. The opposite would be to scatter or disperse information.
Let's see how we'd use this in a professional travel context. Your boss has asked you to research potential locations for the company's annual retreat. After a week of research, you go to your boss and say, I have compiled a report on 3 possible destinations with details on costs, facilities, and travel time for each. This sounds much more professional than saying, I got some information. It shows you have been systematic and organized. A common mistake is using it for physical objects in a casual way. You wouldn't say, I'm going to compile my clothes for the trip. You would say, I'm going to pack my clothes. Compile is primarily for information, data, or evidence.
My practical advice is to use compile whenever you are presenting information that you have collected from multiple sources. It instantly makes your work sound more thorough and credible. Use it in emails, reports, and presentations. For example, I have compiled a list of the best local restaurants based on online reviews.
Excellent. Okay, your challenge. You have created a guidebook for your friends who are visiting your city. It includes maps, tips, and recommendations. How would you describe what you've done using our new word? I've compiled a little guidebook for you to help you get around. Okay, so you've compiled your report or your guidebook. You have all the information in one place. What is the next logical step? You need to study it carefully. You need to analyze it.
To analyze means to examine something in detail, typically in order to explain and interpret it. It's about breaking something down into its different parts to understand how it works. It's not just looking, it's deep thinking.
There are 3 syllables with the stress right at the beginning. Let's say it together. Analyze.
Other words you could use are examine, study, investigate, or scrutinize. The opposite would be to glance at or skim.
Let's apply this to a travel context. You're a travel blogger and you've just returned from a trip where you focused on sustainable tourism. You're not just going to post pretty pictures. You want to write a thoughtful article. In your article, you might write, "In this piece, we will analyze the economic impact of tourism on this small island community." This tells your readers that you're going to provide a deep, thoughtful examination of the topic, not just the superficial story. A mistake learners can make is to say, "I'm going to analyze about the topic." The verb analyze doesn't need about. You analyze something. You analyze the data. You analyze the situation. You analyze the poem.
My practical advice is to think of yourself as a detective. A detective doesn't just look at the clues, they analyze them. They look for patterns, connections, and meaning. When you say you are going to analyze something, you are telling people you are going to be a detective for your topic.
I love that. The vocabulary detective. Okay, quick practice. You are in a business meeting discussing why fewer tourists are visiting a particular resort this year. What do you suggest the team should do? We need to analyze the customer feedback from the last 6 months to understand the problem. This next word is a beautiful C2 level word that is perfect for describing complex places. When you travel, you often see 2 very different things side by side: an ancient temple next to a modern skyscraper, a rich, luxurious neighborhood right next to a very poor one, a quiet park in the middle of a noisy city. This act of placing 2 things together to show a contrast is called juxtaposition.
Wow, that's a great word. Juxtaposition. It's a noun. It sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. It's all about contrast. It's what makes a lot of cities and cultures so interesting. The mix of old and new, rich and poor, natural and man-made.
Let's master the pronunciation. It's a long one, but we can do it. Jux, ta, po, si, shun. There are 5 syllables. The main stress is on the C part near the end. Juxtaposition. Let's say it slowly. Jux, ta, pa, zi, shun. Now a bit faster. Juxtaposition.
There isn't a simple synonym. You would have to use a whole phrase, like contrast or comparison of 2 different things. That's what makes this word so useful and sophisticated. It packs a lot of meaning into one word.
Let's see it in an example. You are writing an article about the city of Tokyo. You could write, "What makes Tokyo so fascinating is the juxtaposition of its ancient traditions and its futuristic technology. You can see a centuries-old shrine and a robot cafe on the same street." This one word perfectly captures that complex feeling.
A common difficulty is simply being afraid to use such a long academic word. Don't be. If the situation is right, an essay, a thoughtful blog post, a presentation, using it shows a very high level of English. Just be sure you're using it to describe a genuine and interesting contrast.
My advice is to start by noticing juxtapositions when you travel. Look for them: old and new, nature and city, quiet and loud. Once you start seeing them everywhere, you'll find natural opportunities to use the word to describe what you saw.
That's fantastic advice. Become a juxtaposition spotter. Okay, your challenge. You are describing a photo you took in Venice. The photo shows a beautiful historic palace with graffiti spray painted on one of its walls. How could you describe this contrast?
I was really struck by the juxtaposition of the classical architecture and the modern graffiti.
When we travel, we don't just see new places. The experience changes us. It opens our minds. It makes our world bigger. A great academic verb for this is to expand.
To expand means to become or make larger or more extensive. You can expand a building, you can expand a business, but in the context of travel and learning, we often talk about expanding our minds, our knowledge, or our horizons.
Let's pronounce it. Expand.
Expand.
2 syllables, stress on the second one. Expand. It ends with that and sound. Expand. Say it with me. Expand.
Synonyms would be to broaden, widen, enlarge, or develop. The opposite would be to narrow or restrict.
Let's talk about how travel expands us. You're at a job interview. The interviewer asks, I see you took a year off to travel. What did you learn from that experience? A fantastic professional answer would be, traveling was a crucial experience for me. It allowed me to expand my understanding of different cultures and taught me how to be more adaptable and open-minded.
This connects your travel to personal and professional growth. A mistake would be to use it in a very literal, simple way when a better word exists. For example, I ate so much pizza that my stomach expanded. It's technically true, but it sounds a bit strange and overly formal. You would just say, my stomach got bigger, or I feel so full.
Exactly. Okay, your practice sentence. You are writing the conclusion to a university essay about the benefits of studying abroad. What is your final, powerful sentence? Studying abroad is an invaluable opportunity for students to expand their horizons and become true global citizens. And that brings us to our final word in this academic mile. After you compile information, analyze it, notice the juxtapositions, and expand your mind, you have to reach a decision or form an opinion. You need to conclude.
To conclude means to arrive at a judgment or opinion by reasoning. It's the final step in a thought process. It's what you decide after thinking about all the evidence.
The noun form is conclusion. In conclusion is a very common way to start the final paragraph of an essay or presentation.
Let's see the verb. Conclude.
Conclude.
Stress on the second syllable. Conclude. It rhymes with rude. Conclude. Say it. Conclude.
Synonyms are decide, judge, or deduce. The opposite would be to begin, start, or open a discussion.
Let's use it in our final academic scenario. You have been analyzing all that customer feedback for the resort that was losing tourists. You've looked at the data for days. In the meeting, you present your findings and say, after analyzing all the comments, we can conclude that the main reason for the decline in visitors is the poor quality of the Wi-Fi. You have looked at the evidence and formed a reasoned judgment. A common mistake for learners is to use conclude when they just mean finish or end in a casual way. For example, let's conclude the party now. This sounds very formal and strange. You would say, let's end the party now. Conclude is best for finishing something formal, like a speech, a meeting, an essay, or a thought process.
My practical advice is to think of conclude as the partner of analyze. First you analyze, then you conclude. It's a logical sequence. It shows that your opinion is not just a random feeling. It is based on evidence and thought. And that is a perfect conclusion to Mile 4. We've learned to compile, analyze, talk about juxtaposition, expand our ideas, and conclude our arguments. You are now equipped to talk about travel not just as a tourist, but as a thinker, a writer, and a professional.
The finish line is in sight. We have one more mile to go. It's the final sprint. It's time to bring everything we've learned together. Feel that sense of accomplishment and cross that finish line with confidence. Are you ready for the final push?
Let's go. Don't give up now. You've come so far. You've made it. This is the final mile of our vocabulary marathon. You can see the finish line. The crowd is cheering. This is the moment to use all the energy you have left and sprint to the end. In this final section, we're going to review our key words and give you a final challenge to make sure these words stick with you forever.
You should feel so proud of yourself. You started with the basics like ticket and passport. You leveled up to beautiful, descriptive words like breathtaking and serene. You navigated the tricky twists of idioms like hit the road and the travel bug. And you power through the academic mile with sophisticated words like analyze and juxtaposition. You have run a full marathon of words.
Let's do a quick lightning review. I'm going to say a simple word or idea, and I want you to shout out the more advanced or interesting word we learned today. Ready? Instead of nice view, breathtaking. Instead of real local food, authentic. Instead of a busy, lively city, vibrant. Instead of let's go, let's hit the road. Instead of to study something carefully, to analyze.
Fantastic! See, those words are already in your mind. This is how learning works, not by memorizing a list, but by experiencing the words on a journey. Now, let's talk about putting this into practice. This is the most important part.
This is your homework, and it's the most important workout you will do. I want you to choose just three new words or idioms you learned today. Your 3 favorites, maybe one from each mile, and your challenge is to use them today.
You could post a comment below this video. Write 3 sentences using your chosen words. We would absolutely love to read them. For example, a good example would be, my dream is to visit a serene monastery in the Himalayas. I think I've caught the travel bug. I need to compile a list of places to go. See how natural that sounds? It connects the words into a little story.
A less effective example, a bad example, would be just writing the dictionary definition. For example, serene means calm. Travel bug is a desire to travel. Compile means to gather. This doesn't help you use the language. The goal is not to prove you remember the definition. The goal is to make the word a part of your active speaking vocabulary.
The biggest mistake people make after learning new words is not using them immediately. A new word is like wet cement. If you use it right away, you can make a mark, and it will set forever. If you wait a week, the cement is hard and you can't do anything with it. The word is gone from your active memory.
So say your 3 sentences out loud to yourself right now, or write them in a journal. Send a text message to a friend who also learns English. The act of producing the language, of creating something new with the word, is what makes it stick.
Our final piece of practical advice from our own experience is this. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. So what if you use juxtaposition in a slightly strange way the first time? So what if you use an idiom at the wrong moment? That's how you learn. Every mistake is the lesson. The only real failure is not trying at all.
Every word you try to use is another step closer to fluency. Every sentence you build is you crossing another finish line. You have completed this marathon today, and you are stronger for it. You are a better English speaker than you were when you started this video. That is a fact.
You did it. Feel that sense of accomplishment. It's real.
Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. It really means a lot that you chose to spend your time learning with English Made Easy. If you found even one idea here useful, please give this video a like. It helps more learners just like you discover our channel. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss our next lesson, tip, or practice session. When you support the channel, you're not just helping it grow, you're also helping us create even more free content for learners all around the world. Together, we're building a community where English becomes easier, step by step. I'd also love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let me know your biggest challenge in learning English. Your feedback helps me create videos that truly match your needs. Thanks again for being part of English Made Easy. Keep practicing, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video.